Yo, what's good everyone? OJ here and welcome to another video. Today we've got some great information for you guys because we're talking about Monolith Soft and Xenoblade Chronicles X and its potential on the Nintendo Switch or not. Plus there was other stuff to discuss as well, so let's go ahead and jump right in. And we're starting off with the interview with Tetsuya Takahashi with US Gamer. He talks about a lot of different things when it comes to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and then finishes off with Xenoblade Chronicles X, and we'll get to that part, but I do want to talk first of all about what he said with the core crystals and what they were trying to do with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So he said that they wanted to give players a type of gachapon mechanic that would give different players different outcomes, and that might be something that would encourage them to share their experiences on social media, which people did, but it also frustrated the heck out of the people because of the rates and everything like that. Now they also went on to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country and the expansion and how the random blades are gone and all of that stuff, and basically this was a response to people complaining about the confusing menus and other things as well. Quote, "We wanted the battles in Torna DLC to be speedy, but we did hear comments from the community about how some elements to the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 battle system were tricky to understand. We wanted to make it easier to approach and more streamlined. We were also thinking about how the DLC is standalone content. We wanted the battle system to be approachable for players who haven't experienced the main game yet." And I honestly feel that they got the perfect balance between people who have played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and people who haven't played it at all. If you already know, you can hop right in, you can complete the quest, you can topple people, you can break, topple, launch, and smash. You won't need to know any of that. But then for those who need a little bit more help going along, there are the quests that you can do that help you with that, and there's other things. So I think that they actually did a really good job with that. Now he did move on to more about Torna the Golden Country and some of the tech issues and stuff. So quote, "RPGs are process intensive because they often involve lots of different elements being displayed on screen at once. There are a lot of things we learned about developing the engine for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that we put towards making optimizations in the Torna DLC. We think the DLC is a fairly optimized experience. We really focused on making sure players hopefully don't see the frame rate drops, which there are some frame rate drops here and there, but there's definitely a lot less than there was with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in the game. But overall, the game is fun and it's smooth and it plays well, and it's not one of those games that you have to actually have pinpoint timing on, or like a first-person shooter or something like that. So you can deal with it even if there are some drops here and there, because there's auto battling, and then you just kind of like press automated buttons at sometimes in order to do like the button challenges. So there's not really anything too much with it when it comes to that, and it's still a very enjoyable and much more optimized experience than we got with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, at least when it first launched. Now moving on to the last thing here, and this is what most of you guys probably want to talk about, and what I will talk about as well. So he did touch on something that a lot of people actually want, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles X. That game, that is a Wii U game, and a lot of people want it on the Nintendo Switch because the Wii U flopped and a lot of people didn't play the game on there, but they want the game on there because it's a really cool Xenoblade style game. It's completely open world, you have mechs, it's just different from what we've seen out there, so people do want it. And here's what Tetsuya Takahashi had to say on that. "Well, the future at present is unclear. Personally speaking, I'd love to play the game on the Switch, but it would be really difficult to make money. It's a massive game. Recreating it would be really difficult." So let's talk about this, because I think some people had to almost go into therapy when they heard this. They felt that, oh, this means that it's never coming at all. This means that there's no way in heck Nintendo's going to approve it. This means that there's no way the game is coming, and I'm so upset at this point. There was no indication that this game was going to be in development. From everything that we did know at this point, Monolith Soft is working on a brand new IP. Monolith Soft is recruiting for a brand new project. That's what their main team is doing. They're planning, they're gearing up for a new game. Not an old game, but a new game, or a game that's going to be different from what they've done before. So I don't see why people were thinking that Nintendo and Monolith Soft already had this game in development, when we all know that Monolith Soft is gearing up for something kind of different and big, not a port of Xenoblade Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, they do have multiple different teams, so maybe they can get somebody else to do it, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. This isn't like, oh, we're taking Xenoblade Chronicles X and we're just putting it out there on the Nintendo Switch. It's not like they have like a port button that they press, then all of a sudden the Wii U game, which has data packs and is on different architecture and would need to be optimized, all of a sudden appears on the Nintendo Switch. It would take time, it would take money. It is a very large game. There is a lot of things that you'd have to do there, and they're definitely going to have to plan things out if they want to bring it over. They're not going to be able to do it with just a small skeleton crew or anything like that. You can't build off of what you've already done there. You've got to port the game over faithfully. You got to make sure that it's a high quality port as well. So maybe they could outsource it, maybe not. It would still be tough because, like I said, Xenoblade Chronicles X, guys, there are some weird things with that game when it comes to it. They have these things called data packs, like tons of gigabytes of data, to where you need to download those if you want a smoother, faster experience. Otherwise, you're going to hit some long loading times. You're going to hit a lot more pop-up, not quite as sharp. So there's just some weird technical issues. On top of that, it's on the Wii U. Guys, there wasn't a lot of open world games on the Wii U for a reason. It wasn't necessarily the most open world friendly type of architecture for games. So you didn't see a lot of big and massive RPGs on the system. You saw more traditional style of games. You saw a lot of platformers. You saw some third-party stuff here and there, but they were more confined. You didn't really see any of the bigger or open-ended games on the Wii U just because of the architecture and some of the tech specs and what they did there. And Monolith Soft obviously showed that because their game, there's some weird stuff that isn't on any other Nintendo Wii U game. So I think that if they were going to bring over Xenoblade Chronicles X, it's got to be planned, it's got to be done right, and it would take a substantial amount of their team size and effort to do so. However, I wouldn't just give up at this point. He never said that it's not going to happen. People were already coming at me on my live stream, and sometimes people were saying, oh my gosh, this makes me so sad. But we already knew this game wasn't in development at this point, so it's not planned. But a year from now, or 2 years from now, or whenever they finish their next game, it could be planned. It could be something that they can get back into. So I would just say, have patience, guys. If it does come over, it comes over. If it doesn't come over, well, there's your reason to hang on to your Wii U, or there's your reason to go out and buy a Wii U. It's to play Xenoblade Chronicles X because it's a fantastic game. I still have my Wii U. I played it just a little bit ago on the channel. I think I played it earlier this year on the channel. I think I did. Yeah, I played it this year, so you can check out some Let's Plays that I do have on the game if you're interested in it. If you're interested in getting a Wii U, you can probably find one really cheap somewhere, so you can play it on there. It does have the dual screen type of thing, so that might be annoying for some, but it is what it is there. It's still a fun game, and it's still really good if you want to go back and play it. I think it's aged, even though it wasn't that old, so it's only like, what, 2015? I think it's aged still really well. So I do personally feel that they're going to bring over Xenoblade Chronicles X at some point. I just think that they need more time to plan it and get it done, and I think they need to work on their new game. I think that's more important than Xenoblade Chronicles X. I think their new game is more important, what they're trying to do with that and going forward, something completely original on the Nintendo Switch. I think that would be dope as well. So what do you guys think about what Tetsuya Takahashi had to say here with all this different stuff? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, now moving on to the next topic here. CyberConnect 2 has shared more info on their Trilogy of Vengeance games. So CyberConnect 2 seems to be giving us a little bit more because there hasn't been much information on these games, but I'm actually really excited about these games, guys. These are the same developers who make the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games, so they're the same ones who do that. They're pretty flashy, you know how CyberConnect 2 is with their stuff. So let's go ahead and get into the first game, which would be Fuga. Fuga starts out dark and bleak, but gets more hopeful over time. CyberConnect 2 waited almost 10 years after the Sola Torobo because they did not want the Little Tail Bronx series to get stale. So this is more of like a spiritual or sequel type to what they've done before. It's just been a while. Now, CyberConnect 2 will soon be promoting the game with online fan communities. So that is the Fuga game where you play as like war orphans and everything like that. So it is pretty bleak and dark, but then it gets more and more hopeful like they did state here. So let's go to move on to Tokyo Ogre Gate. So Tokyo Ogre Gate's main selling point will be the character, story, and worldview. CyberConnect 2 is now developing and adjusting Tokyo Ogre Gate's mechanics. So this game is really interesting because it's like you're running and you're just like running into the screen and just like slashing things up and then moving from place to place. So it seems pretty crazy. I'm looking forward to this one as well. And the last game here is Cecile or Cecil. It's one of those two. And this game was the idea of a single game director. So one guy got this greenlit. And CyberConnect 2 is still planning the look and setting of the title. So CyberConnect 2, man, they've got some good stuff in the works. I like the fact that they're going independent with their games here, just because I feel that the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games have been getting stale. They've been getting a bit stale. Bandai Namco went in a different direction with the Shinobi Strikers game, and guys, I'm not a fan of the online only type of deal. So maybe they return to this series, maybe they don't, but CyberConnect 2 has their own things that they're working on. CyberConnect 2 has been going through a bit of a rough patch lately, but I think that these games, doing something kind of smaller, doing your own titles, making the revenue, I think this can kind of bump them up a bit, especially if these are some quality titles. So I'm looking forward to seeing what CyberConnect 2 has to offer. I always play their games. I've played pretty much all what they've offered on the Xbox and PlayStation with all the Naruto games and everything like that. And I think that they're a good developer. I do feel that they're a good developer. Just sometimes they kind of focus on kind of flashy cinematics and stuff over the actual gameplay and controls and the mechanics. But I think with the independent game like these that they're doing, they definitely have to focus more on the mechanics of the game and how it controls, how it plays, how it feels. I think that's one thing that they really need to work on if you're going to have successful independent titles. So I feel that these games are going to do a lot better in those aspects because they don't have the funds to do the type of flashy stuff and everything that they had with Bandai Namco with Naruto. So what do you guys think about this whole Xenoblade Chronicles X deal in addition to CyberConnect 2 as well with their Trilogy of Vengeance? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the internet in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages and consider supporting PlayerEssence. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.